Hashem ki tov. We've been able to come home once again. Simchat Tov has overcome the infection and recuperated from the pneumonia, and we're able to bring him back to our home and take care of him here in the way that we're able to do best. However, after being in the hospital for 2 weeks, there are some interesting thoughts and reflections that I have. One of them is that it was interesting how the doctors and the nurses seemed to be hesitant to trust us as parents, to be able to take care of our own child. When it came time to give medications or do certain things for him, they seemed hesitant to see that we could do it. And yet, when Ram, Simchat Tov's caretaker, would come, they were very quick to trust him. They would ask him for his assistance even. And it became most obvious when we had to take him to a CT, and we brought him downstairs, and then they told us as the parents to wait outside, but Ram was invited to come in to help take care of Simchat Tov and move him into the machine and all of those things. And I found that very curious. Why is it that a parent is not trusted, yet a caretaker is? And upon reflection, I believe there are two concepts. The first one is that parents are often not trained to do the things that are necessary to take care of the physical needs of a person. And therefore, the caretaker, who is trained and paid to do so, is more competent and reliable. But I sensed that there was something deeper yet that made them hesitate even so. And I believe that is where the love of a parent can sometimes impede in the ability to be able to take care of a patient. Sometimes there are things that would make a parent very uncomfortable because the love that a parent has for a child will get in the way. And then again, it makes the parent less reliable, whereas a caretaker was going to be able to be more competent and more trusted. However, I did find that somewhat off-putting and even offensive, because, as we know, any parent, or at least most parents, when they find themselves in a chronic illness, whether it be the physical illness that we are experiencing, or perhaps it might be an emotional situation, parents, when they are in a chronic situation, will be motivated by that very same love to do what's necessary. If it means clamping down on their emotions and acting more like a caretaker, they will do that because that's what their child needs. And so while we can understand that sometimes a parent might have to behave or act like a caretaker and might have to be able to be more controlled in their responses, but a parent will always do what's necessary to take care of their child. All the same, this gave me insight into one of the Kapitel of Tehillem that I've always been curious about. In Kapitel Kuf Chav Gimel, where we describe how Klal Yisrael looks to Hashem, we lift our eyes and we look to Hashem. But the mashal that's given is Hine ke'enei avodim al yad adoneihem, that of a servant by the hand of his master, or a shivcha al yad gevirta. So too are our eyes. We look to Hashem until He will have mercy upon us. Why does the Tehillem use a mashal of an eved to a master and not a son to a parent or a daughter to a parent? Isn't the love and the commitment of a child greater than that of a servant? However, I think the answer is if we look at the rest of the Kapitel of the Tehillem, it talks about some very extreme situations that Klal Yisrael has found themselves in Galus, where we have experienced the revulsion and the anger and the hatred of the people that we live amongst. So, just like in our situation, where the love of a parent requires us to take on the persona of a caretaker, and not respond emotionally so we can take care of our child in the best possible way, so too Klal Yisrael, in times of Golus, when things are extremely difficult, need to take on the persona of an Eved who is willing to accept the decrees of the master and remain loyal despite all of the challenges. But I believe enough time has gone on and Klal Yisrael has suffered enough over the ages in our exile and at the hands of our abusers. And we as individuals have suffered enough with different challenges that it's enough to say die. And we ask Hashem that we should no longer have to suffer. and that Hashem should bring us home. And just like Hashem brought Simcha Dov home from the hospital, now we are able to relax and enjoy and take care of him, so too we ask Hashem, bring your children home. Let it be a time of Mashiach Tzidkenu when we no longer have to suffer the exile, and we don't have to suffer the illnesses and the challenges that each of us are going through. And Hashem will rejoice and be able to say to his children, welcome home.